like this every time. On these days I feel like you and me.
Hi, Mrs. Michelle here. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I'm a feminine housewife that got married at 18 and I like to make videos about it. So today's video is, as promised, how I knew my husband was the one. And if you notice, I'm a little out of breath. I just got done working, so I'm like kind of tired or whatever. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. If you have been watching my channel for a while, or if you kind of binged, I have posted our entire love story on my channel, so if you haven't already watched that, I definitely recommend you go watch it after you watch this. Anyways, my husband and I started dating when I was 15 and he was 16, and from there, it led to this. So I'm going to tell you why it did. And I just want to say, if you're watching this because you feel like someone is the one for you, one, you probably already know. Okay, I'm just saying, you do. You do. Somewhere deep down, you do. Two, gotta cut on my light. Alright, there we are. Two, I just want to say that it is different for everybody. Other people have different signs. Someone is the one for them, so don't take mine as the end-all be-all to whether or not they are the one. I'm simply explaining why my husband was the one for me. So let's go ahead and get into it. My husband and I both found God together. We are people of faith, and before we met each other, he was raised in that kind of household, but I wasn't, and we weren't really Christian, you know what I mean? And when we started dating, we discovered God together, and we worked together to be the Christians we are today. So that is number one, why he is the one for me. I feel like God put us together so that we could find him together. Number two, our souls just kind of communicate and mesh perfectly. So he is the opposite of me. I'm just gonna be honest. He's the opposite. Opposites attract, right? He is the opposite of me. He is rather brazen. He's a bit more curt, you know, etc., etc. He's to the point. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, whereas I'm a little bit softer. I'm a little bit sweeter, whatever. And so our energies mesh perfectly. We bring out the things that we need in each other. So he does bring out my harder side, and I do bring out his softer side, and I feel like that is a really important thing to mention, because a lot of people think if you're opposite you cannot be together, and that is not true at all. We work perfectly together because we are opposite. Now, some soulmates are the same and that's great too. Number three, we share the same values. Our values are not normal for today's society. We're pretty traditional. So it is definitely a good sign that we share these same core values with each other. And from the get-go, we were just kind of on the same page, and when we weren't, it's like we grew together. We grew to meet in the middle, and we share exactly the same values, from housewifing to how we're going to raise our kids to religion to politics. We are completely the same, and that is a great thing. Of course, there are couples that work out without sharing the same values, but it is a very important thing. This one is four. We constantly work to stay together, and I know a lot of people are like, what? How does that mean they're the one? Well, it's just we have this super huge urge, super huge drive to not let anything pull us apart. It's just something that we deeply feel and that we felt since we first started dating, is we just never wanted to be separated in any way. Like I said, a lot of this is like soulmate-y stuff, because hello, he's my soulmate, and a lot of this is technical. So for this one, it is definitely soulmate-y. We have this urge to be together. We have gone through obstacles together. We have worked out problems, etc., etc. We want to be together. We have worked so hard at it. And honestly, technically speaking, someone who is the one for you would work super hard to be with you, and vice versa. Okay, so definitely consider that, and definitely, if you feel like that kind of energy is not in a relationship, talk about it. Just talk about it. Be like, okay, so why don't we work through problems instead of threatening to break up over them? Okay. Number five. I knew before I knew. I know you're like, well, what does that even mean? So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of rundown. My husband kind of knew right away. He kept getting premonitions. So when he saw me, he immediately thought, girlfriend. Like, he literally thought, oh, she'd be a good girlfriend. He didn't even know me. He didn't know me. But, like, that was his premonition. That was God being like, hey, so I have a plan. So now, when he saw me again, he thought, dream girl. Like, he had all these premonitions. And within, I don't know how long of us dating, I've never asked him to specify. It was within months of us dating. He knew, wife, I'm gonna marry her. I know it. It went to that urge thing too. He knew he would do anything he could to marry me. He knew that was just his urge. And I had the same urge, but I was a little bit naive. I didn't know anything. I knew, but I didn't know. So, like, I acted on these feelings of us being together, of us being married in the future, but I never knew. I came around to it. I realized I'd known all along, but I didn't know. So, like, a lot of people say they have a moment they fell in love. For me, it's like I was already in love. I was already with my one. I just had to realize it. Kind of like the romance movies. A little bit. Anyways, leads me to my final point. Number 6, I did things that were out of character for me, and that means I would try to make the relationship work. If something was going on, I would make compromises in areas that I generally wouldn't have, that kind of thing, because he was bringing out this side in me that wanted to be with him, that wanted things to work, that wanted everything to be equal and happy and loving. And so he really brought out a side in me that really only a husband could bring out in a wife, a side that cares more about their other half than worldly things. And that is going to be my takeaway for today. That is a great sign that you guys are meant to be together. And thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment down below, subscribe, and ring that bell. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.